A new Lady Whistledown is writing again. Francesca is a widow. Eloise is no longer as certain as she used to be, and production on Season 5 is moving faster than most people realize. If you think the Season 4 finale simply set up the next love story, you missed what was actually happening underneath it. Because Season 5 is not just another chapter, it is a structural reset for the entire series. Let's start with what is not rumor, not theory, not fan speculation. Seasons 5 and 6 are officially happening. That was confirmed before Season 4 even finished airing. This is not a show waiting to see if it survives. The long game is already mapped out. And that matters because when a series knows it has runway, it plants long-term story mines in advance. Showrunner Jess Brownell has publicly confirmed that both Eloise and Francesca will lead upcoming seasons. Not might, not possibly, will. She said this during the Season 4 press cycle and doubled down when asked directly about the order. Both sisters are getting their stories. The only mystery is who goes first. And that order is not a small detail. In this universe, the lead determines the emotional tone of the entire season. Daphne's season was about duty versus desire. Anthony's was about trauma and control. Colin's was about identity and insecurity. The lead shapes the theme, so deciding between Eloise and Francesca is really deciding between two very different emotional architectures. Brownell has also confirmed that the new Lady Whistledown will create significant trouble. That phrase was deliberate, not gossip, not noise, trouble. That signals narrative impact, not background commentary. The anonymous pamphlet is no longer just flavor text, it is active again, dangerous again, and crucially, detached from Penelope. Penelope Featherington is officially out of the Whistledown business. At the end of Season 4, she chose to step away after asking Queen Charlotte for her blessing. The Queen granted it. That exit was clean, which means the return at the very end of the finale was not accidental chaos, it was design. Someone else picked up the quill, and production has confirmed that mystery will stretch into Season 5. Casting-wise, the core ensemble is expected to return. Adjoa Andoh remains part of the series as Lady Danbury, despite her character's temporary departure within the story. That detail alone tells you something. Influence still matters in the ton. Even off-screen movement does not mean narrative absence. On Eloise's side, Brownell has stated that the show intends to honor her book love interest, Sir Philip Crane. That name is not being erased, it is being preserved. Whether the same actor returns or whether the role is recast has not been officially announced, but the intention to keep Philip in play is clear. And that creates tension, because in the show's version of events, Eloise has already met Philip, briefly, awkwardly, without sparks. The clean letter-writing strangers to lovers arc from the novel does not exist in the same way here, which means if Philip is still the endgame, the writers must rebuild that bridge from scratch, and they know it. Now let's talk Francesca. Her trajectory is already in motion. By the end of Season 4, she is a widow. John is dead. Michaela has left. The house is empty. That is not theoretical setup. That is active grief. And production has confirmed that Michaela remains part of the long-term plan. The gender swap from the books was not a temporary twist. It was foundational. That means Season 5 will not simply be about romance. It will be about reputation, secrecy, and survival inside a society that does not have language for what Francesca is feeling. When Brownell says trouble, she is not just referring to gossip columns. She is referring to structural risk for these characters. There is also no announcement of major new casting yet, and that silence is loud. In previous seasons, significant new characters were teased early in production. The absence of that here suggests one of two things. Either the story is already anchored in characters we know, or a reveal is being strategically held for maximum impact. Production timing is another quiet clue. The writing process for Season 5 began before Season 4 fully wrapped its press cycle. That overlap suggests urgency, not panic, momentum. Shows that are unsure pause between seasons. Shows that are confident accelerate. And then there is the Queen. Queen Charlotte gave Penelope permission to retire the Whistledown name, but the Queen also thrives on control. An anonymous writer reclaiming that brand under her nose reintroduces a public adversary she cannot easily intimidate. That shifts the political energy of the ton back to instability, which is exactly where a drama thrives.
If you want to predict Season 5, you cannot just read the books. You have to read the gaps between the books and the show. Because this adaptation does not copy. It repositions, it reshapes, and sometimes it quietly removes the very bridge that made the original love story possible. Start with Eloise. In Julia Quinn's novel, To Sir Philip with Love, Eloise is 28 years old, unmarried, and watching every sibling around her build a life she claims she does not want. That detail matters. In the book, her resistance to marriage slowly turns into isolation, not because she suddenly believes in romance, but because she begins to feel left behind. The inciting event in the novel is Marina Crane's death. Eloise writes a condolence letter to Marina's widower, Sir Philip Crane. That letter becomes a correspondence. The correspondence becomes emotional intimacy. She falls in love with a mind before she ever sees the man. Eventually, she runs away to meet him in person, and what begins as intellectual connection evolves into partnership. She becomes stepmother to his twins, Oliver and Amanda, and later has children of her own. On paper, it is a quiet love story, two lonely people choosing each other in private before making it public. Now look at the show. In the Netflix adaptation, Marina is not Eloise's cousin, she is Penelope's. That single change removes the organic reason for Eloise to begin writing to Philip. In the books, grief connects them. In the show, that emotional bridge does not exist. The writers have to create a new inciting incident entirely. Second problem, Eloise and Philip have already met. Briefly, yes, but they met, and it was not romantic. It was strained. There was no spark, no hint of hidden longing. That meeting disrupts the fall in love through letters structure, because you cannot build mystery around a stranger when the audience has already seen him in a drawing room exchange. Which means if Season 5 is Eloise's, the writers must either reintroduce Philip in a radically different context or pivot the format of the romance altogether. Do they keep the letters? Do they abandon them? Do they create a scandal that forces proximity? Every option changes the emotional temperature of her story. And then there is Theo Sharp. Theo does not exist in the books. He was created entirely for the series in Season 2. A print shop worker, politically aware, intellectually equal to Eloise. The chemistry was not subtle, it was immediate, and it was left unresolved. The show never publicly closed that door. If Philip is endgame, Theo is unfinished business. And that matters because this series understands emotional echoes. It rarely introduces a dynamic without consequence. Brownell has confirmed the intention to honor Philip from the books, but she has never dismissed Theo. That silence is deliberate. Now shift to Francesca. Her book, When He Was Wicked, is arguably the most mature romance in the entire series. In the novel, Francesca marries John Sterling. They are happy, deeply compatible. Then John dies suddenly. His cousin, Michael Sterling, has been in love with Francesca from the moment he met her. He carries that secret for years, respecting her marriage, burying his feelings, living in guilt. After John's death, Francesca grieves. Time passes. Slowly, carefully, she and Michael find their way to each other. It is a story about longing, restraint, and second chances. The show made a change that alters everything. Michael Sterling became Michaela Sterling, played by Masali Bazooza. That is not cosmetic,
That is structural. In Regency England, a man secretly loving his cousin's wife is scandalous but survivable. A woman loving another woman is existentially dangerous. There are no safe confessions, no quiet elopements without consequence. The social stakes multiply instantly. And the show layered in